Let's embrace reality. Infidelity does not occur in an instant. It seeps in like a whisper through a fractured pane, gradual, subtle, yet lethal. Once you become aware, it has already settled within you. What remains unspoken is this: a woman who strays does so with complications. Her presence inevitably disrupts your routine, disturbs your peace, and unsettles your instincts. Many overlook them. They may try to rationalize it, yet the reality remains. You witnessed it. You simply wished it were not the case. This video does not delve into paranoia. It revolves around recognizing patterns. If you have experienced that dull pain, that constriction in your chest that suggests she is drifting away, this message is for you. Before we get started, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you don't miss any of my tips for men on how to get the woman of your dreams. And if this video resonates with you, leave a 1 in the comments. If not, leave a 0. Your feedback helps me create better content for you. Let us observe the indicators. Indication 1. She detaches yet maintains her smile. She remains steadfast. She remains present. That is what creates the confusion. She remains a part of your daily existence. She offers a good morning, yet her gaze remains fixed elsewhere. You inquire about her well-being, and she responds, "I'm fine." More akin to a reaction than a reality. Yet, there is a change, a gentle one, nuanced. Those with a calm mindset sense it before others do. She is here, fully engaged in the moment. Indeed, her essence seems to reside beyond the present moment. The laughter once shared with you now seems contrived. The gaze, fleeting, cautious, empty. You share a humorous remark. She smiles, yet her eyes remain distant, her body unresponsive, lacking the vibrant joy that once illuminated her when you were near. It's the sort of smile exchanged with a stranger in an elevator, brief yet meaningful. She claims to be merely fatigued, that work has been demanding, and she requires some solitude. Those are merely words crafted to create a pause, rather than foster a genuine bond. And within yourself, you are aware of it. Not due to your emotions, but because you possess keen observation. A composed individual does not overlook patterns simply due to their discomfort. He observes with unwavering certainty. He perceives the unspoken truths that lie beneath the surface. What you perceive and experience is this: she has started to distance herself, not through conflict or dramatic exits, but in a manner that transforms love into a mere obligation. Presence has transformed into performance. When a woman invests her emotional energy in other areas, she must carefully allocate what little is left for you and what endures. Only what is necessary to maintain equilibrium. Merely sufficient to deter any inquiries. Only what is necessary to ensure you remain steadfast and do not retreat. However, you are not irrational. You possess confidence. What you observe is the gradual erosion of closeness. Should you choose to remain silent, you may find yourself fading away as well. Your sense of worth should not be derived from her life, but from your own inner strength. That is the starting point of emotional betrayal, not through deception, but by the gradual erosion of reality. Indicator 2. She begins to conceal herself in obvious places. She closes doors with intention. She maintains her composure. She chooses silence. Deliberately. You once possessed knowledge of all things, even the seemingly insignificant details, the bothersome colleague, the peculiar dream she experienced, what she consumed for lunch. Now her life is divided into sections, and you are no longer welcome in every part. She speaks, yet only when it serves her purpose. Only when the narrative is secure, only when it aligns with the image of herself she wishes to project. This marks the initial transition. The second is the phone. Once it was merely an object, abandoned on the table, neglected on the bed. Now it rests in her hand, face down. Notifications are muted. She positions it away from you as she types. It was not your place to request her password. You did not place any blame on her. Yet she finds herself in a position of defense already. Should you dare to inquire, she will label you as paranoid, insecure, and overly controlling. Yet a wise individual understands that truth remains unafraid of scrutiny. What is genuine stands strong without the need for protection. True love is transparent. It does not seek refuge in secrecy. When one genuinely cherishes tranquility, they do not sow seeds of doubt and label it as your issue. This is not a matter of control. It is a matter of contrast. There is a notable difference between her former self, who was open, expressive, and transparent, and her current self, who has become guarded, evasive, and cautious with the details. What you perceive as growth is merely a facade. Concealment invariably serves a purpose. Infidelity does not start with a mere kiss. It starts with the removal of opportunity. One overlooked detail, one subtle change, one door sealed in a dwelling where you once held the keys. What is the most challenging aspect? She encourages you to reflect on your own thoughts and actions, rather than focusing on her. As long as you continue to attribute your feelings to your instincts, she remains unaccountable for her actions. Yet the composed individual requires no evidence. He requires only a pattern. When an individual begins to navigate two separate existences, trust that your perception is accurate. You find yourself excluded from the second group. Indicator 3. Her physical presence remains, yet her emotional connection fades. You continue to share a bed, yet it no longer resonates as a place of belonging. The warmth has departed. The cadence is misaligned. An unseen force now exists between you, creating a divide. On certain nights, she silently turns away, offering no words. On different evenings, she takes the lead. It comes across as contrived, overly intense, and excessively theatrical, as if she is attempting to validate herself or conceal something beneath the surface. And you find yourself contemplating which is more challenging: the silence that leaves you feeling unvalued, or the fervor that seems misaligned with your essence. Here lies the reality that many men shy away from confronting. When a woman engages in infidelity, whether emotionally or physically, her connection with you inevitably shifts. At times, it simply disappears. At times, it transforms. Yet, it is always in flux. True intimacy transcends mere frequency. It is centered on being fully engaged in the moment. When that presence is stripped of love, you will sense it deep within, resonating in your bones, in your gut, in the stillness that follows. It may evoke the sensation of embracing a phantom, connecting with someone who is absent, as if your physical presence is utilized, yet not valued. When you address the issue, she will dismiss your concerns as mere figments of your imagination. I find myself weary. You're allowing your emotions to take control. However, that is not the case. You are observing with intent. Sex, in its truest form, serves as a profound means of communication. At this moment, the language has evolved. It lacks fluency. It lacks authenticity. It lacks authenticity. And here is the unyielding truth. A woman cannot offer her body to you if her spirit is tied to another place. By continuing to act as if nothing has changed, you only undermine your own instincts to maintain her ease. Yet a person anchored in rational thought does not overlook the indications. He holds them in high regard. He observes them with keen attention. Above all, he takes action. When the flame extinguishes, one does not cast blame on the remnants of smoke. You assess whether a spark has already been ignited in another place. Indicator 4. She initiates disputes that lack clarity. You neglected to respond to her message. Now she claims you lack concern. A dish has been left in the sink. She claims that you do not pay attention. Your response was straightforward. Now she is reflecting on the tone of your voice. Initially, you attempt to resolve it. You find yourself expressing regret for matters that remain unclear to you. You reflect on past conversations, contemplating whether you overlooked any crucial details. Yet beneath the surface, you understand that this transcends mere words. It transcends the mere dish. Focus on the substance, not the delivery. It is a form of displacement. She is not in conflict with you. She grapples with her own guilt. When a woman approaches the emotional boundary or contemplates crossing it, she must establish a sense of distance. Distance frequently disguises itself as conflict. For in her perspective, if you are the issue, then she cannot be the antagonist. If you feel isolated, if you seem detached, if you find yourself overwhelming, or if you feel inadequate, then taking a step back is not an act of disloyalty. It is a practice of nurturing oneself. And this is what renders it truly deceptive. She persuades herself initially. Then she attempts to persuade you. Failing to see the truth will lead you to a position of defense in a conflict you did not initiate. You will attempt to mend what was never in need of repair. In a dwelling you contributed to, you'll tread carefully, mindful of the fragility around you. You will conform to the image she has created, the one that serves as her rationale for fleeing. But a wise individual perceives the situation for what it truly is. In this instance, conflict does not equate to communication. It is a form of concealment. She redirects the focus from her decisions to highlight your shortcomings, whether they are genuine or merely perceived. When she portrays herself as the injured party, the subsequent actions seem less like a betrayal and more akin to liberation. However, you were not meant to bear the weight of someone else's guilt. Engaging in conflict with someone who has already cast you as the antagonist in their narrative is futile. You watch, you distance yourself, and you safeguard your tranquility. When faced with a situation where conflict is used as a tool for disloyalty, the most prudent course of action is not to engage in a futile battle for victory. Victory lies in knowing when to step back from the contest. Indication 5. Her path forward no longer encompasses your presence. This is the one that remains composed. It speaks softly. Maintain your composure. Avoid unnecessary conflict. Only gentle adjustments to the life she once envisioned alongside you. She once expressed that when we find a place together, but now her words have shifted to contemplating a move. She once shared her dreams with you in every word she spoke. Journeys, development, construction. Now she speaks of healing, growth, and self-discovery, yet never in your presence. Your presence has subtly faded from her path ahead. It's not a reflection of your actions. Rather, she has already begun to detach herself mentally. And here lies the challenge that tests the resolve of many men. She is not requesting your departure. She is merely ensuring that you cease to feel comfortable in this space. Let go of the plans, release the notion of us, and embrace the emptiness. Space that she is not welcoming you into. When you bring it up, she claims you're overreacting, that your insecurities are showing, and that you're interpreting things too deeply. But the wise individual understands that people do not dream of departure unless they have already begun their journey away. Begin with your emotions, then shift to your thoughts, and finally, address your physical state. When she informs you that it's not a decision, but rather a confirmation, understand that she has been preparing for this departure for weeks, perhaps even months. Every time she expressed, "I just need time," it was not a plea, it was a measured anticipation. While you lingered in anticipation of comfort, she was adapting to the chill. That is why her embraces seem devoid of warmth. That is the reason her gaze steers clear of yours. Your presence is regarded with indifference rather than appreciation. Here is the final version. She possesses clarity. She is preparing with focus and determination. She is distancing herself from your future as a means of liberating herself from your present. Should you refuse to acknowledge the departure she has already orchestrated, you will find yourself lingering in a relationship that has ceased to exist. Yet, a composed individual does not plead. He remains steadfast and composed, not pursuing what eludes him. He remains grounded, not allowing himself to be emotionally uprooted. For true dignity speaks softly. It simply departs, leaving the other individual under the illusion of control. Let us clarify this matter. Infidelity does not start in the intimate space. It starts in the quiet moments, in the lingering uncertainties, in the smiles that fail to illuminate her gaze, in the reassurances that ring hollow and untrue. The process initiates when she begins to limit her affection, and you find yourself persuading your mind that this is sufficient. A woman does not betray her commitment on the day she chooses to be with another man. She betrays the moment she severs her ties with you and decides against returning. The indicators were evident from the beginning. You simply referred to them as phases. Yet a wise individual does not pursue mere fantasies. He does not engage with energy that has already dissipated. He does not plead for a place at a table that no longer offers him nourishment. When you sacrifice your own self-respect to maintain a connection, you have forfeited more than just the bond itself. You have strayed from your true self. Here lies the ultimate reality. If she needed to forsake you to discover her true self, she was never truly yours to begin with. If this resonated with you deeply, if it dispelled the illusions you've been maintaining, comment clarity. Clarity is not a source of suffering. It is a pathway to liberation. When you have moved past uncertainty and hesitation, take the step to subscribe. Here, we focus on what is real and substantial, not on fleeting illusions. We cultivate clarity of thought and embrace the truth without hesitation.